Hello, world. Yes, under this mask, I still am Joffey Joe, and this is the show. Call it how I see it. And on today's episode, I got a couple of things I want to talk to you all about. First things first, I have a Week 3 NFL recap with the boys, Vinny Talarico, Glenn Pratt, and Carlo Esco, as we break down Week 3 and what else to assume and think as the NFL season is moving along. Oh yeah, definitely stuff you don't want to miss out on. And secondly, I have Carlitos Way World back in the house. Oh yeah. As I blabble and babble on about how the Phillies are going to do great in the playoffs, I also have Carlitos there, and we're also going to talk about some Anthony Joshua, as he has become such a disappointment in the boxing world as another overhyped boxer goes down. Oh yeah. So, you don't want to miss out on this action-packed episode of Call It How I See It. And the return of the Quadra-box, Call It How I See It. How you guys doing? I'm going to start with you, Vin. How you doing, man?
Doing good, man. A little bit of a weird win. Not sure if I want to call it an ugly win, but considering what happened during the game with injuries and whatnot, can't be too upset about the result. So we'll take it.
I agree. I got a little something for that later on, but, I'll definitely dive into that. How you doing, Jay?
All good.
All good in the hood, huh?
We'll take it.
Yes, we'll take it. And, of course, how you doing, my friend, Glenn Pratt?
What Joffey called me? I'm to call it how I see it. Let's get it.
Let's get it, bro. Let's get it. So, gentlemen, we are here, and we're here to talk some Week 3. We're going to have our little Week 3 recap of football and stuff. So, as we saw, a lot of stuff happened, and some upsets happened. It was very entertaining, to say the least. But now, where we are, we're going to go into detail about, some of the stuff we saw. But, G, since Zoom wanted to cut us off last week, I thought I wanted to give you some time to run the floor and talk about your Steelers. So, I'm going to let you run and mop the floor. So, it's all yours.
Listen, I've been a lifelong Steeler fan and seen a lot of quarterbacks come and go. Since Ben, we've struggled. Last year, there was no chance. The quarterbacks they brought to the table, Trubisky, Rudolph, Pickett, no chance to compete in the AFC.
Right.
So when they got Russell Wilson, I said, okay, he's got to be better than what we had.
Right.
Then they got Fields. I was like, oh, wait a minute now. The young buck, the one who, was in Chicago, showed flashes. I always say if any quarterback that plays the position will have a moment. They all have moments. If you play the position, you'll throw a touchdown pass.
Right.
You'll have a good play. But who does it consistently? Who puts their team is there at the end when it's time to shine? I've seen Big Ben. I appreciated a lot of years of Big Ben. Good Steeler football from the quarterback position.
Right.
And, sometimes I sort of think we came up a little short with Ben. He was real successful early, and then when he started really slinging the rock, they couldn't win in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? They could get knocked out by Jacksonville, Blake Bortles, Gerard. We're getting knocked out. Baker, Mayfield. Yeah. We're just getting knocked out of the playoffs by everybody. So they haven't had success in a while. So people have been on Tomlin. But this quarterback position, this competition quarterback now for the Steelers, I think it's competent. Just give us competent. And that's all I ask for. With a defense like we have, it seems to be clicking right now. Still early. We haven't really played any juggernauts.
Right.
Okay, I understand that. But at the same token, they've done what they've done against NFL teams. So now we get another test this week, and we'll see what happens. I mean, it's a week-to-week proposition. And right now, Fields has been steady. He's shown progression.
Right.
I was a little hard on him early. Hard on him early.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. Field goals? Come on, man.
Yeah.
I need touchdowns.
Right.
He wants to get one. Okay, thank you. He hit my man Austin against the Chargers. I mean, I've seen what I want to say is improvement, and they're 3-0, so how do you complain?
No, I hear you 1,000%. So, you would ride out the Fields train right now, right? Until you see, any reason for him to get the yank.
No, Fields?
Yeah, I'm saying, you would still ride the Fields train no matter what, the way things are going.
Yeah, at this point, because of this last game, for his short career, this was his first respectable game.
Yes.
So, as long as I keep seeing this,
yes.
We good. We prepared as though Justin's going to be the starter. We don't got a name of the starter, but we're preparing that Justin Fields is going to be the starter. As long as he keeps going this way, I'm all good. All good.
I hear
That's
you.
all I want to see. Come on, Justin.
Keep it going. But, on a real note, though, I mean, I definitely have seen him definitely make strides, like you're saying, because, in terms of, throwing the ball, he's been doing good. I mean, last week when they were playing, those 2 touchdowns that got called, the 1 touchdown to Pickens or whatever that got called back, I was one of the best throws I've seen, in years, bro. It was a shame they took that back because that was a fucking gem of a throw. But, he shows he has these, he has these skill sets and everything to really be, a franchise-leading quarterback. Time will tell in terms of stats and everything, but right now, the most important thing, G, is that he's not turning the ball over. You know what I mean? He's not
man. He had one
that's
pick.
the hugest
and
thing.
At the same token, he's thrown the ball 23 times, 20 times, and against the Chargers 32 times. So, I mean, We don't need him to go nuts. As
Right.
long as we can still be productive with the run game, we don't need him to go crazy. I mean, until he shows me a little more, let's keep it in the high 20s and hope for the best. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. So it's definitely going to be something we're going to monitor and keep an eye on in the future. So
Absolutely.
I want to make a quick transition to what I have on right now, and I'm talking about the damn Eagles, all right? So I just want to say a couple things first, all right? So this whole idea with the Serianni regime, right, of just winning and getting by, it's definitely something like a win is a win, right? And it's hard to win in the NFL. Yes, I understand that. It is very hard to do that, especially what we saw last week. It was a gutsy win. They were able to pull it off. But my thing is, where do you grow as a team? Because like there's a lot of the same problems that are still coming into light in this year's team, and it has new players and new pieces to this team. So I'm trying to figure out like if they're trying to grow as a team and really get to a certain point of being a championship caliber team. When do they excel if they're just trying to keep getting by? Because honestly, like this style of play isn't going to win you a championship. And if this style of play continues, you'll barely just be able to make it out the first round, if that. And that's not where they want to be. I mean, the way this team is structured and everything, they're having championship aspirations and stuff. So I'm trying to figure out, and I'm still trying to figure out why Jalen Hurts is making mistakes. Yes, it's a new system. Yes, I understand it takes some quarterbacks time, and you need to give them time. But I mean, when you're getting paid $50 million, the best thing you can do is just not turn the ball over. And you keep turning the ball over. It's making me nuts. It's driving a lot of people in Philly nuts. So I understand things happen that are not in your control, but when you are in control of things, making throws or even scrambling out of the pocket, not putting two hands on things, you're gonna hurt your team more than make the best of the moment, and it's just driving me nuts. But Ben, I want to hear what you got to say about the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, you said everything pretty much dead on about Jalen, but another thing too, going back specifically to Serianni in Philadelphia, they loved Buddy Ryan back in the '90s for all the, he was kind of like the perfect coach for that city.
Right.
We felt the same way early with Doug Peterson. We definitely didn't feel that way about Chip Kelly. And early with Serianni, we love the on the sideline antics. It's great when you're winning. It's great when the team is dominant.
Right.
But when you've been inconsistent since you beat the Bills last year, and when you beat the Chiefs on Monday Night Football, you're screaming in the tunnel like you just won a Super Bowl. And then you go out there this season. If the Eagles had lost that game yesterday, if they lost the game on Sunday, there'd be a conversation this week about him losing his job.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Because you don't. And I said this last week. Points are hard to come by in the NFL. If they had taken the points against Atlanta, it's a different ball game. And for them not to take the points in that game, you have to get a feel for the game. He did an interview this morning on WIP, and he referred to two games where they had gone for it late in the first half, against the Falcons in his first game and against the Rams last year.
Right.
That doesn't have anything to do with the way the game was flowing against the Saints, where you lost two offensive linemen, you walked in the game not having A.J. Brown, you lost Devontae late in the game as well, and your quarterback, like Joe said, is struggling. Get points on the board when your defense is playing the way they did. The defense won that game against the Saints.
Yes,
I love that
definitely
Nick
the only
Fangio
bright
made
side.
adjustments.
Yes.
That's the first defensive coordinator I've seen make adjustments in Philly
Fucking
since Jim Johnson,
bro.
which is crazy.
I know.
But going back to what I was saying at the end with the getting a feel for the game, if you take the points and your defense is playing well, they no longer have to worry about, okay, we're down 3-0. If they score, it's a two-possession game. If you put points on the board and you keep the game tighter, your defense can play a little more aggressive, which can play into your favor a little bit more. So
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. You hit the nail on the head there, Vin. Like, there's definitely a lot to take in, especially the defense aspect. That was definitely the bright side to this game. At least the defense stepped up, especially with all the turmoil that was coming out from the last week before. But even like the week before, I mean, to give up 15 points and then have that last, drive turn out the way it did. I mean, they did their job. It's like the offense needs to do more. And honestly, in decision making and everything involved, like that's why we ended up losing that game. We did more to lose that game than win it. So to see the defense to step up like that was huge.
More of his flowers too. He heard all the things that were said about him.
Yeah,
he played a good game, and Jalen Carter did too. And remember, he
was the highest rated defensive tackle last week.
Yeah, if their defense can be aggressive and be like a nasty defense, that's something that the team lacked last year. They didn't have the energy or they didn't have the swagger.
Yeah, they gave up almost.
They gave up a lot of bad plays at the end of last year on defense. Guys weren't tackling, they weren't trying to tackle, they were making business decisions. But for the first 3 weeks, I'd say the defense has been more consistent and good. They were put in bad spots against the Packers with Jalen having those turnovers back by his own end zone. But I mean, they definitely answered the bell for week 3 because up until the last drive of the Falcons game, they had a good game at Atlanta, but just giving up that big drive and then going into New Orleans, a hostile environment, to play the way they did on defense, especially. He's very impressed.
No, it says virtues of where especially it speaks virtues of Vic Fangio. And last week I was very critical of him, but now you know what, you did your job. I'm cool with that, and I see you making like adjustments, like you said, and trying to do the betterment of the team, working with the pieces that you have. Even like not having Bryce Huff in the game as much anymore, throwing Brandon Graham more, getting more snaps to Brandon Graham. Like, he almost doubled Bryce Huff's snaps just because Bryce Huff has not been doing anything. So if you need to do that and do that type of thing and send a message to the rest of your defense, and that just speaks virtues of you as a coach, even if you're sitting up in the press box. But, JC, I want to hear what you got to say.
You guys both hit the nail on the head. The defense carried us to that victory last week. I think Jalen Carter had the best game of his career.
Yes.
Last time. I got to be honest about the offense. Saquon bailed us out.
I know.
He bailed us out. No, 2 victories, he's bailed us out. Right. I'm glad Dallas Goedert's getting involved in the offense.
Yes.
Finally. But
That's what that last week, yeah.
Yep.
that's what they have to do now.
Right. I
Oh,
mean,
wait, no Devontae. You got to figure it out.
right.
I mean,
I mean, that was a bad position too, and I feel bad for him because I think the referees in that situation kind of failed him, leaving him, open up there for an open hit like that, and now we're dealing with the repercussions of that. But it is a football play.
There was two follow-up hits on him too. One was by 93, and then when Smith was already on the ground with his helmet completely off, number 98 fell on the pile and landed on Devontae too.
Yeah, and spit right next to him and stuff.
I mean, I don't think there was any balance there. He definitely got hung out to drive. I don't think it was.
But that's where I come back to Jalen,
They
though.
suspended James Durbin for a hit for a game.
Right.
I mean,
I thought that these guys are put in a tough position, man. And I just don't sometimes. I don't think they intend on it.
But that wasn't a bang play because he was being pushed back a good 5 yards. Right?
But if he breaks away and runs for a touchdown, then we're saying, what the hell?
But he wasn't getting a breakaway.
The probability of him doing it is low, but you've seen crazier stuff, man.
The probability was on the other side of zero. He had 3 guys on him, and a guy came from behind him as he was still being pushed back. They should have if that's a quarterback, they're blowing the play dead 1,000%.
Yeah,
exactly. That's
right.
my whole point.
Yeah. He's a receiver.
The late hit when he was on the ground with his helmet off, there's malice behind that. You can't justify that.
I gotta see that. I don't remember him. I just thought the play was still going on. They didn't realize his helmet was off.
But I mean, to shed
that team
real quick.
Like that since Sean Payton was there, so that's nothing new for that team with that defense.
Yeah, that's true. But real quick, on a real note though, I want to shed light to even why that situation happened. And what happened was that was his 3rd catch in a row, right, on that same drive because Jalen Hurts was feeding him the ball, force feeding him the ball. I'm like, dude, you have to push the ball around, man. They almost expected that type of, they expected him to get the ball, and then when he got the ball, they just gave a little extra mustard on that hit, and that's what ended up with that situation. So he almost had a target there for him to get. You had an open target for him to get hit like that. So man. I didn't like how it was set up.
He could try to get down there. I don't know. He just his momentum was taking him. You just wanted him to turtle up and go down.
I know, and it's tough when you're 175 pounds, bro. I mean, it's tough. I mean, we see week after week. I've seen Devontae get picked up or slammed or just I'm just
light up.
I know he does. He's very resilient. Don't get me wrong, but we've seen him get injured in the past too, and I just hope he can hold up. I really do. But
if he misses this game, it's only a second game he's going to miss in his whole career.
Yeah.
For a guy that's 170 pounds or 160 pounds, he's been in the league for 3 years now. I mean, he's been pretty durable. So with all the hits he takes.
I agree. So anywho, something else I wanted to bring up is the damn Chiefs, man. What's going on with these damn Kansas City Chiefs, man? They squeaking by. Seems like the refs might be helping them out just a lot. Not even a little bit. They've been helping out a lot. I almost feel like that first game they photoshopped the fucking footprint out of the bounds, but that's just the conspiracy that I'm thinking. But in terms of that pass interference with Atlanta, the pass interference with the Bengals, the Chiefs are 3-0. Yes, they're defending champs. Is there a narrative out for them to be this way all the time? I don't know. But, I mean, they are what they are, and they are the level that everyone's trying to get to. So, mind you, all this, what do you guys think? I'll start with you, Jay.
No, they're 3-0. For what they got at their skill positions, what they got at quarterback, Travis Kelce is worthy. Is it what's the Rice?
Yes, Rashid Rice.
Yeah, they're making it. I mean, those guys are looking to be big time players, and I know Mahomes seems to be pedestrian right now. Seems to be making more mistakes. I think he has a few picks here and there.
Forcing it.
Yeah, he's definitely seems like he's doing a little bit. So they're missing Pacheco because to me, Pacheco is a stud.
He is a stud. He is. There's no doubt.
So he's a big miss.
Did you guys, on a side note real quick, did you guys know about Edward Hilaire being checked into a mental institution?
No, I didn't even know that.
I found out when you told me.
Yeah, it's what I heard. At least he's getting mental health or something. That's why he hasn't been with the team. But he's actually been struggling with this for a little while. But now I think this year they actually took the time to push him out for it and stuff. But that's just a side note I wanted to say because it's he was a talent coming out. So I don't know. But go ahead, Jay. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, they're finding ways to win, man. I mean, I look at the Steelers. I mean, Kansas City's got the skill, talent. We know they got the coach. So going forward, they're definitely formidable, man. But it's going to be interesting to see how these guys get better.
I know.
And they said Hollywood Brown too might not even. They said he could be out for the year.
I know, which is huge.
He's not going to be on the field till January.
Yeah, if that.
That's brutal. I mean, also too, who I saw lining up and running routes for them last week? Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. I know, but I mean, he's familiar with the offense, so it's like a shoe. It fits. It's an old shoe, but it can still fit and be very serviceable and formidable for that team.
Right.
What do you think, Jay?
They're the champs till they aren't anymore. I mean, they're eking by, but that doesn't take anything away from their defense. They can still play.
Yeah, Spags.
As long as you have Mahomes, you have a chance. You do have Travis Kelce, but he is putting up pedestrian numbers right now.
Yeah, I mean, also too, that's been come under light because most of his offseason he's doing traveling and not in the gym. Some people are trying to point that out and say maybe he needs some more time to get adjusted. I don't know. His new celebrity life. He's got a new movie coming out, horror movie that I saw, and I'm just like, wow, I guess he's really going Hollywood with all this. But I mean, mind you, it comes with where he's at and who he's with. So status.
He's riding the wave. Just ride that wave.
Yes, he is. He's riding the Taylor Swift wave.
The main thing with their offense is Rashee Rice.
Yeah, Yeah, you're right. He is the real key component until, he gets suspended for what he did. But, that's another can of worms. But
next year, that's need for speed right there. He's tearing it up.
Mr. Felony.
Is something's coming suspension-wise? Or is that inevitable?
Yeah, I definitely see that happening. But, I mean, in terms of the length of suspension, plus it's his first-time offense, and that's why he's still on the field right now. So if he was a repeat offender or had other type of things going on, I believe he would be suspended. But, we'll have to wait for that. But, Vin, what do you think about the Kansas City Chiefs?
Well, the Chiefs are definitely, you talked about them getting the calls from the referees or having flags picked up in certain situations. We've seen it throughout the last couple of years. They're the new poster child for the NFL for being the favorites.
Patriots.
But in the NFL, the one thing that you want to do, and it's a week-to-week league, like G said, if you can just not sustain any major injuries and just win games and you show resilience, eventually those good teams, the elite teams in the NFL, once they hit a stride, they'll start blowing teams out. Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, all it's going to take for them is one game where Kelce has 10 catches for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, and they'll be back right to where they were at the end of last season in the Super Bowl as the best connection in football. Andy Reid is going to put those guys, as he always says, in a good position to make plays. He would say that after every Eagles loss, it would drive me crazy when he would repeat the same things at press conferences. But Andy Reid is one of the 3 or 4 best coaches in football, and the Chiefs eventually will hit their stride where, we're talking about them not hitting their stride like they're not 3-0. For them to be 3-0 and just eking by like this, how good are they going to be if Patrick Mahomes and Kelce start heating up and that defense starts playing consistently? And everything else for them, their division's not that great. So I think they can run away with that, potentially get home field advantage again, and get another conference championship at Arrowhead.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be something we'll have to keep an eye on. And, we'll see how everything really turns out with all that. So, right now they're on top of the mountain. So for everything involved, until they get knocked off or anything, they are the team to beat. And given that they're in the process of going through a three-peat and everything, it's going to be really tough to beat them. So they are at the top, and until they get dethroned, they are that team that everyone's trying to beat. They got the target on their back, and they seem to walk around with it just fine. So, it comes with that type of territory, and that's what, a dynasty in the making can be. So we'll see how that turns out. But on another note, and final note, I did want to get into detail about who you guys might believe is the best 3-0 team. There's some surprises, and there's some teams that, we didn't expect to be there, and there's teams that we did expect to be there. So I want to start with you, G. Who do you think is the biggest, best 3-0 team right now?
Listen. I know the Steelers are 3-0, and I know, the homer in me would say them, but listen, I'm a realist, man. I call it how I see it.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm liking Buffalo, man. If I had to pick one, I'm a Josh Allen guy, and I know they've lost players here and there, and for me, sometimes subtraction is addition by subtraction, what they say sometimes.
Yeah.
So maybe him not having to be or look at just one guy and, having the versatile running back, even though he let one, I think, go through the ducats last night.
Right.
But, things happen. But he's still very versatile. Cook's a player. And they got some guys making plays. Josh Allen, look out. I think he sees Mahomes. He sees him. He's still behind him. But it's getting closer.
He is.
Josh is the player,
I think Josh Allen's propelled himself above, Joe Burrow right now, at least, I guess.
He's always been right there. You can argue either way. I know his turnovers have been up, but Josh Allen's a stud. Dude.
But that's
stud.
He is a stud. We all see his talent and everything, but where he is, and we see him doing this the most, not turning the ball over. He's really having, we always wondered, what if this guy never turned the ball over? Now we're really getting to see that, and now we see how lethal he can really be in terms of stature and everything. It's really cool. It's really cool to see how everything's turning out for the Bills. As much as I'm not the biggest Bills fan, but I'm kind of rooting for them and seeing how things go for them. So,
When I watch Josh throw it though, he's on point, man. He can put it anywhere.
He's definitely got the strongest arm in the NFL.
Man, I tell you, he's the real deal, man.
I want to give a quick shout out because I do have this on IG Live right now. But shout out to Bill Wilson for hopping in, saying what up. I just want to say that real quick. But on another note, what do you think, JC? Who do you think is right now the a real good solid 3-0 team right now?
The defending champs are the best until somebody knocks them off.
Okay.
They're not even playing. They're not playing their best ball yet. They're missing their running back, and they're still finding ways. Referees are not. They're still figuring it out. I'll take the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah, no matter what, he is defending champ and everything, and he's got the pedigree right now. But I did want to shut this stat. I think I read something last week where Mahomes has had 22 turnovers reversed by the referees, and during a span of time, Tom Brady in his whole career, he's only had it done 16 times, and compared to the Mahomes being in 7 or 8 years now. So I don't know, just something I wanted to throw out there that I found interesting, and I don't want to believe in conspiracies or anything, but I don't know. But Jay, you're right though. In terms of them being 3-0, even given some close calls and everything, they still are at the top of the mountain. You cannot take them for granted for any reason. So definitely, I agree with you there. What do you think, Ben?
Oh, well, definitely. I think the best 3-0 team, I would agree with Glenn, is Buffalo right now.
Yes.
I think Josh Allen is starting to assert himself in that conversation as one of the two best quarterbacks in football. I still think it's Mahomes is number one, but Allen is starting to separate himself from everybody else that's not named Patrick Mahomes. And the only downfall with him in his career is he just runs into the only team, like the Chiefs, in the playoffs. And it's not like he's losing games he should be winning in the playoffs. He's performing well even when he loses those tough playoff games. And like Glenn said, when you lose a guy like Stephon Diggs, you're able to work the ball around to different receivers, which can make a quarterback better because he's not forcing the ball to somebody. Defenses can't key in on one person. And if the Bills can continue to establish not needing a number one receiver, make everybody work for the ball, make the defense have to cover everybody at the same level, that's going to help them out in the long term too. But I'll say the most surprising 3-0 team, I'd say, was probably Minnesota.
Yeah.
Just of who they've had on their schedule and seeing their quarterback get injured before the season even started, not knowing what Sam Darnold could do. And Sam Darnold's another example of if the quarterback just gets into a right position in a situation, whether it's coaches or players around him, like no one can say that Sam Darnold can't play. Like even if you watch him with the Jets, he was making good throws here and there, but he was on a terrible organization. There was nothing for him to work with in the offense. And now he goes to Minnesota where he's comfortable. And the Vikings possibly next year might have to make a decision of what do we do with McCarthy if Darnold keeps winning us games.
Yeah, so, that could definitely get interesting down the line, especially with
Darnold's out. He's auditioning for another team. He's out.
You think he's just the bridge, right? The bridge factor.
That could also help him too. Then it's like if a team next year wants to take a quarterback at the top overall pick. And I think now what's really unfair to young quarterbacks is everybody looks at how good that Mahomes came out of college. Andy sat him for a whole season, which I think you should do with young quarterbacks.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's a case-by-case basis.
But his quick ascent and how fast he became so great. Every other team in the league, when they draft a quarterback high, they expect it so fast. But not every quarterback gets drafted by Andy Reid and walks in and has Tyreek Hill, has Travis Kelce, Kareem Hunt. Not taking anything away from Patrick Mahomes. I'm definitely not doing that. But every situation is different for these quarterbacks, and I think they need at least a year or two to get their feet wet in the NFL and get used to the speed of the game. And again, a lot of quarterbacks go through offensive coordinators like every year. That doesn't help them out either.
No, I agree.
My argument there is when you say get used to the speed of the game. Can you get used to the speed of the game on the sideline? To me, you got to be playing football to get better at playing football. To me,
well, if you don't know the playbook and you're not familiar with it, the speed makes it as quick as the game is in the NFL compared to college. If you're out there on the field and you don't know the plays as well as you think you should, and the coaching staff thinks that you should sit, then maybe you should sit for a year.
That's a whole other issue. If you're telling me he's not competent, I mean, it's a case-by-case basis, man. If you're playing quarterback and you're drafted in the first round, I mean, what do you do? I mean, now it's time.
Right.
It's time. You're going to struggle the first couple years. I don't expect you to make be an all-pro the first couple years. Show me progression, but you should be in there. That's the only way you get better playing football is playing football.
I agree.
I mean, sitting on the sideline,
I agree, but I agree with you, but I also do think that, like I said, since Mahomes came in from year one, he played one game against Denver at the end of the year. He looked really good in that game. And then year two, he comes in, he throws like 50 touchdowns. It almost seems like whenever GMs draft quarterbacks now, no matter how bad the team is around him, they expect that quarterback to do that. And I don't think that's fair to every other quarterback that comes in the league, especially teams when you're drafting number one. First things first, you're not a good football team off the jump unless you're a good team and you make a trade up. And then number two, when they come into the league, I mean, as I said the speed is so much different. And then when you're playing with maybe a pedestrian offensive line like Bryce Young was in Carolina, not having people to throw the football to. Tua, early in Miami, they wanted to trade him, and the patience did pay off. It's unfortunate he got hurt again this year, but when Tua was healthy, their patience with him did pay off. He was a good quarterback when they put better people around him, and he got used to that offense. Unfortunately, he just, he's been snake-bitten with, like, really bad injuries, with concussions, and, it just sucks to see that happen to Tua, because I do think he is one of the better quarterbacks in the league, because they gave him that time to get better every year.
I think
you got the goods, you play. That's it. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
You get drafted first round. You get drafted first round for a reason. You ain't sitting. It's just the window in football is so small. Maybe a little bit larger or bigger for quarterbacks. I mean, they can play a little bit longer. But man, you got to get him in there, man. If he can play, he's playing.
Right.
But you talk about championship windows too. But the championship window is not small for rebuilding teams. That's a long process, and you got to
exactly. You see what you got. You got to see if he can play. Listen, even if he's on a bad team, you're going to see certain things in him that tell you he can play. But even if he's on a bad team.
But then he can also kill his confidence if you put him out there and he's getting sacked every time.
Man, see a man, you're playing football, bro. Can you play? If you can play, you're confident. Bryce Young can't play. He can't play. He'll be out of the league in 3 years. He's just going to run the dude. Come on, man. He can't play.
No.
Not the NFL.
I don't think it's fair to say that when you can't
play.
He's got nothing around him. Nothing.
But if he had some skills, he would do something great. He would do something special. Nothing, bro. He's out. You'll see.
It's also hard to be very successful when in 18 games you've had 3 head coaches.
Can he play? Where his skills?
No.
If he can play, we see something. I'm not saying they be Super Bowl contenders, but we see something. We're seeing nothing. Andy Dalton came in there dicing them up. Come on, man. Bryce Young can't play.
Andy Dalton's been in the NFL for 10-plus years. Good head coaches get something out of young quarterbacks.
Bryce Young can't play. He's not even competitive. He doesn't make Carolina competitive. But we'll let it play out. We'll get back to it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that. And then you're right, G. There's certain circumstances and scenarios. Like, I mean, we can go back to the Packers scenarios with, Aaron Rodgers or even Jordan Love. Like, Jordan Love was a little shaky at first. Aaron Rodgers was a little shaky at first, just into the game speed. But then, I guess their, knowledge of the playbook and everything showed out over time, and it became a good move to do that. So it depends on the scenarios. Yeah, even Hurts, Hurts did come in later, too. So that's another scenario.
And he had a lot of offensive coordinators in and out of Philly. And then the first couple of years, like last year, he goes from Steichen to Brian Johnson.
Yes.
And now they have a better offensive coordinator in Kellen Moore. It's only been 3 games, but I think throughout the whole season, Eagles fans should expect him to be better. The system around him should be better.
I hope to God it happens, bro. I really do. Because otherwise, I'm on that get the fuck out of here train.
The thing with Serianni, he's also talking about how, all offseason, all we heard was, it's Kellen Moore's offense. I'm going to let him do his thing. And
but we still see this guy fucking...
games, here and there, I call the plays. Well, which one is it?
Yeah, we know the deal. It's
such a bad look for him. And it's a bad look for Roseman and Lurie.
Yeah.
Now they're like, well, we got a head coach here who says he calls plays, but 3 months ago he said he wasn't going to be calling plays.
Exactly.
And it's only week 3 and that's happening. That's a bad look for them.
It is. It's like, who really has the control here? I mean, we want to believe it's Serianni in terms of,
No, I don't want to believe in Serianni. I want him gone.
No, I do too, bro. I honestly want him gone right now. I'll fucking drive him to the airport and get him out of here. I don't care. I don't want him as our coach anymore. I think he makes some boneheaded calls, and him in press conferences saying that, I want to believe in my team to make the right plays and stuff. But I mean, honestly, you're not really putting your team in the right position by doing stupid shit like that. And honestly, that's why we didn't win the Atlanta game.
Like
I know, that's what I'm saying. He's just an idiot, bro. And honestly, I don't know. I think his voice will wear out, and we'll see how things progress over time. But
definitely did last year.
Real quick, the guys you all were talking about were sitting. However, those teams acquired them, they all had a competent, somewhat established quarterback in front of them. If they didn't have that, they all would have played. They wanted to put, trust me, Mahomes would have played as soon as he got there. But Alex Smith was okay.
Yeah.
You had Rodgers in front of Love.
Alex Smith's another one. How many offensive coordinators did he have in San Francisco when he got drafted? He was good, but he was before Kaepernick came in, and again, Kaepernick took that offense from a game-managing offense to a very good offense. When Alex Smith got hurt that last year in San Francisco, he led the league in passer rating because he got in an offense with Jim Harbaugh, and sometimes it does take guys a couple extra years.
Yeah, he was good. He was just good.
What do you think, Jay? On a final note.
Where are we still talking about the quarterback situation?
Yeah.
The Bryce Young thing, I agree with Glenn because Andy Dalton just kind of walked in there. It didn't help Bryce Young's case.
No, it doesn't. Not at all.
I don't think Bryce Young's going to be completely out of the league. I think somebody will give him a shot.
He's a project.
Andy Dalton coming in there and shredding a defense that beat Baltimore.
Yes.
Shredding them for 303 tuds. Brought Deontay Johnson back to life.
Come on, man.
The red rifle strikes, guys. The red rifle.
I'm not giving. Look, Bryce Young's out here doing it for the short people. That's me.
I was gonna say because he made me look smart. I don't know.
It's gonna be interesting.
On the bigger side, so we kind of like
I mean, if you got Drew Brees precision, okay, but let me see it. Let me see it.
Drew Brees is 1-1.
Exactly.
Bryce Young is Alabama Brees. He's accurate in college.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, I'm just saying.
I mean, we all know about that. We all know about these Bama quarterbacks. But guys, on a final note,
you don't get wide receiver rooms like that.
No, you don't.
Right.
Devontae, no.
It's they're just set up for success right away just because of the recruiting and everything. But guys, I appreciate you guys coming on and calling things as you see it. The Quadra-box was fun again, and until next time, I hope we can do a week 4 recap and keep things moving here.
Definitely.
Sounds good, brother.
All right. Until then, enjoy your night, guys, and until next time.
All right.
Take it easy. Here we go. Yes, we are back, and I am here to talk
Phillies baseball, because the Phillies have been doing some great things. Yes, finally, as of tonight, we have clinched at least a bye week in the first round of the playoffs, meaning that we won't have to face a wild card team. And this will also indicate that the Phillies will have more leniency of playing at home, which is a great thing because the Phillies, as of tonight, have their second best record of all time playing at home this season. They've been lights out at home for the most part. Some hiccups along the way, some games that I've been to that had a hiccup. But overall, it's been a great year. It's been fun, and now we're really closing down to the nitty gritty part of things, and especially once postseason baseball is coming up. I do have Carlitos on. What up, Carlitos? How are you doing, my friend?
What's up, Joffey? I'm here chilling, enjoying the show. I'm here in the background. I'm just here looking cute, feeling the show. It's your boy, Carlitos Way World. We're talking baseball with Joffey Joe. Don't mind me, just mind Joe.
There you go. Well, I'm glad to have you aboard, and I'll have you. Don't worry, you'll be involved in some fashions and lights. But let me talk my shit because it's time to talk some shit. Yes, we are the best team in baseball, sort of, but we are still duking it out with the Dodgers for home field advantage in the playoffs. Whether that matters or not, who knows? But given that the Dodgers have paid almost $1 billion for a bunch of players that really aren't even available, other than Shohei Ohtani and other players, but I'm really not concerned with them because of their pitching staff is still under shambles. If anything, I think this year is the year to strike and win the National League. Minus, I did think that last year, and seeing where things are developing now, I think this could also entail certain matchup schematics that could favor the Phillies and could also be a little problematic. If the Phillies were to match up the Mets, could be problematic, I think, just because of matchups and stuff and how things have gone this year. But also, I do feel good about us playing one-on-one against the Dodgers. I do feel good of us playing against the Milwaukee Brewers, since they don't have Christian Yelich, even though they still had a very good year in finishing off things. But seeing how they lost to the Pittsburgh Pirates tonight, and we were able to clinch that second seed at least into the playoffs, that's definitely a big thing and definitely a big win for us. So we'll definitely see how things turn out. For the most part, we're coming into the postseason very healthy, and where things are starting to project and light up, I think coming in, we really, as Rob Thompson said in the interview tonight, we really might have the best team that we had just because of where experience is, especially from the past and everything else. I really do like our chances coming in. But, like I said, I liked our chances last year, and things did hit the wall as things got dry. And I think this year is really important that we finish the job. And given everything that we've been through this year, the ups and downs and the highs and lows of things, I really am excited to see where things might turn out. Definitely Game 1, you're definitely throwing out Zach Wheeler. Game 2 is definitely Aaron Nola. Game 3 should be interesting, whether you want to have Christopher Sanchez or Ranger Suarez. So, yeah, Sanchez has played most of the year and has thrown the most innings of his career. He had some hiccup tonight a little bit, had one bad inning, but for the most part, it was an okay start. He's been pitching okay down the stretch. Ranger Suarez, I loved him coming into the season, and yes, he got injured, as he usually does most of the seasons, and some of his stuff started to tail off. But, coming to playoff time, though, my man is as cool as a cucumber, especially hopping in the mound, and he brings his best stuff. So when it comes to a 7-game series, I'm very confident in these 4 guys. If we're throwing out these 4 guys against any other team, our rotation is very important, and bullpen for the most part has gotten more solid down the stretch. Adding Estevez in the back part of the bullpen, closing out games, I do feel a little bit better than having other pieces like Serianni Dominguez or Gregory Soto. But yes, Estevez is still meshing in and has had a little bit of ups and downs, but I think when it comes to this, I think he'll bring his best stuff. Jose Alvarado, ever since he came back from his leave of absence, has been pretty solid. Ruiz has been pitching great. We still have Strom, an all-star arm. Orion Kirkring, still young, still raw, but the talent-wise and skill set is still there. So for the most part, I'm very confident in our bullpen too. I think it seems like from the All-Star break, we were able to dump out most of the trash and get what we need to have moving forward for a good postseason run. It's gonna be exciting. September's closing. We have one more series against the Nationals, and from there, the playoffs will start. We'll watch the wild card ensue as the Padres already solidified their spot as the first wild card seed, and now the Braves and Mets are still duking it out, but it seems like the Mets are going to end up winning that and taking that one wild card seed. And then we have the pesky Diamondbacks, who I really do not like, including Matt Thomas, who stuck our stupid flag in our field last year as they went to the World Series and got freaking beat up by the freaking Rangers, who I think we would have beat if we would have went there. But there's no hypotheticals in terms of last year because we are where we are now. But minus all that, if we do square up with them again, I really hope we kick their teeth in because they were just very disrespectful last year and they deserve to get beat. So we'll see how things turn out. But for the most part, like I said, the National League is wide open. There's no sure shot team. A lot of people want to put their money on the Dodgers right now, but I'm not really onto the Dodgers. Yeah, Shohei Ohtani had a great year, but what has he done in the postseason at all in his career? Nothing much. So, given all that, we have the experience and we have the pitching, and yes, our bats have been streaky and cold, but I think when it comes to stepping up. I think these guys will finally step up and really pull through. I really am hoping because I'm really just want a parade. Carlitos, I want to go to another parade. I need another parade, Carlitos. I don't think you
Parade?
understand.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes. But you know what? I feel like Phillies are always making it to the playoffs.
Yes.
They always either they don't or every other year. Every year or every other year. I don't know. They're just good. They're one of them teams there.
They're pretty solid. For a little while, though, they were not in playoff contention. Ever since they won the World Series, and they had like 2 years after that where they were in the postseason, made runs, but just didn't finish the job. Now they're back to the postseason like 2 years ago, like making it into the postseason, then going on their magical run. Had a magic run last year, and then they fell short. And now where they are now, the manager's saying this year this is the best team that he's had since he's been taken over. So it's only right for them to finish the job. I really think I think they should be able to, and I don't see why they can't. But it's really on them, Carlitos. If they can't finish the job, then it's really on them because they're getting paid the money. From Bryce Harper to Kyle Schwarber to Trey Turner having a $300 million contract. The pitchers that we re-signed last year is just like they need to finish the job. You guys got your deals, you got your money. Just finish the job. Just do the job, finish the job, hoist a trophy, make the city happy. That's all we're asking for.
Let's go.
So we'll see how that ends up turning out. But for the most part, Carlitos, I'm hopeful and I'm trying to make a couple games. Try to make it to a couple games this postseason and enjoy the experience, enjoy the atmosphere because everybody in baseball knows what it means to play in Philadelphia, and it's just a different atmosphere. It's just crazy, and as soon as that ball flies in the air and gets out of the park, it just the place just erupts, and it's really a great feeling. And I need that feeling, but I need that feeling of a parade too. So
yeah, I still haven't been to a Phillies game. My mom been to a Phillies game. Shit, I'm the only person I think out of my family that has not been into a Phillies game, and I'm here in Jersey, right next door to the brotherly love. I guess that's what they say.
Yes, the city of brotherly love, even though it's not so brotherly nowadays. But when the Phillies are winning and everything reunites and becomes a cool feeling. When I went to the Eagles parade when they won, bro, it was like a magical time. I don't think there was like anybody ever. There was no hostility. Everybody was really happy. It was just a great vibe, and I just need to relive that again. Even when I went to the Phillies parade when they won in 2008, it was just like I just really need that.
I remember that phone call.
Yeah, it was just dude. It was crazy, bro. It was I need that.
History book.
It was
history book moment.
Yes,
textbook history book moment.
For sure, and then
for me.
Yeah, for us it was it was really crazy, especially since it was their first World Series win since 1983, or 1980. Excuse me, I'm getting them and the Sixers confused. But still, it's been a while, and you see how much it means to the fans of Philadelphia because we are passionate and crazy fans. But
oh yeah,
given all
nasty
that,
too,
nasty. We can be a little nasty, but
nasty.
When
I read nasty.
when we when things get real and whatnot, you see where
hide your kid.
Where we stand and everything. I mean, we don't want to beat up kids or beat up people and stuff, but sometimes things get out of hand just because of the circumstances of certain situations. But yeah, so Carlitos, I'm excited about the postseason. It's Red October next week. October's around the corner. I love October. The weather's changing. Fall's here. It's a good time, Carlitos.
We love October out here, man.
Yeah.
We love October. I got my October best beers and shit like that, man. We loving it here.
Yes.
Decorate the house, and we do that here.
Yes, I got my Halloween costume ready already, and it's that time of year, man.
Don't say anything. Don't tell them what we got going on. We say that for the next couple shows coming up. They that costume. Don't tell them.
Well, I have an idea for what I might do, and I already kind of used the mask for the intro. So, but don't worry. Not that the full appearance hasn't been there yet. So don't worry. I got some tricks on my sleeve. But Carlitos, since you're on the show, I did want to, ask you about something that happened last weekend. Since we have your expertise on the phone, on the show right now.
Let's talk about it, John.
I do. I want to talk about your boy, Anthony Joshua.
I'll
let you take the floor on this
we
one.
had a fight this last weekend. I think Saturday night over somewhere in Britain or one of those places.
Yes.
Very sold out, record breaking. Venue, just a whole bunch of people. Just any fight in Britain out there is just like, from what I heard, from what I read,
it's wild.
Just no other. It's just crazy. The atmosphere.
Yes.
And then it's not like the Americans out here, the Yankees out here, us people. We can get rowdy, crazy, but it seems like they're pretty respectful there, but they take their boxing very seriously.
Oh, for sure.
But other than that, the fight, Mr. Who are we talking about again?
Dubois and Anthony Joshua.
Anthony Joshua, that's right. Anthony Joshua fights a young, from Britain too. I forget Dubois, something like that.
Dubois, yes.
I like the kid. He's slow.
Yeah.
But I did like the kid. If I had my DraftKings set up, I always bet on the underdog, and I love the underdogs. Pretty sure he was, up there on the underdogs list. And I would have put my money on him too, because Anthony Joshua is very questionable. He has a lot of meaningful fights. Not a lot, The only meaningful fight I guess he really had was the Klitschko.
Yeah.
That's what kind of brought his shit up.
Yes.
But
that was his claim to fame.
He had these fights that you're supposed to win. And then when he comes to the States, he'll get his butt kicked by a fat Mexican named Andy Ruiz. I think that's him. Is that him?
Yes.
Yeah, and I actually bet on that fight. I actually bet on that underdog, Mr. Andy Ruiz. I won about like $200. And I already knew he was going to win that fight because I seen footage of Andy Ruiz. He's not just a fat guy. It's just, he's athletic fat. There's athletic fat people out there.
There's like that Tyson Fury out there.
But other than that, sorry for interrupting. Other than that, yeah, I seen the highlights like I always do because some of these fights are late. I have my bedtimes very early. Yeah, from when I seen Anthony Joshua got his ass kicked.
Dude, he really didn't. Like, ever since the bell rung, bro, he was just getting sliced up. Like I saw the highlights just like you did. Like from what I saw, Dubois, man, just like you said, he's a little slow, but like his handwork was really impressive. I was really impressed. I didn't see that. I know he fought Usyk.
He's low key strong. You know?
He's got some strength to him. I mean, he's definitely an undersized bot. Like to be in that division, a little undersized, but I mean, other skill sets pick up for his size, stature, and stuff like that. And you definitely saw that come to light in this fight.
People also say, there's a debate, or well, not a debate, but there was a little controversy over him versus the undisputed heavyweight champion Usyk.
Yes.
They actually fought in one of those rounds. Homeboy Dubois or whatever.
Dubois, yeah.
The dude that just beat Anthony Joshua actually knocked down Mr. Usyk with a body blow, but they called it a low blow. But it was in between. So, I mean, he's a strong kid. So
he packs a punch.
The heavyweight division is very interesting right now. I like it.
For sure.
Beautiful.
That's why I wanted to bring it up.
All these hype jobs are getting out the window. Tyson Fury got his ass kicked.
Yeah, it seems like the British fighters are now on the back end of. Well, I mean, Dubois is a British fighter too, but I'm just saying like the British fighters that we've come to know over years, like Anthony Joshua and even Tyson Fury. It seems like their reigns are kind of towards the downslope of things. They're not, they're not the apex of those divisions anymore. And I think these other guys are, okay with stepping in the ring with them and taking on these fights and, coming in believing that they're going to win the fight, just like Dubois did. Yeah. So it's like you had this opportunity, you take it, and Dubois definitely took it and ran with it. So it was good to see. I'm not a big Anthony Joshua fan. I always thought he was hyper-hyped. And then, dude, like, I was really, Carlitos, he got beat up, bro. Like, he got beat up,
bro.
He really got beat up.
It was, like, somewhat, but then I kind of, it's one of those guys, like, with me, with the fighters, I'm like, you got to show me something. So at first, I don't really like you. And then when you start doing things, I start liking you. So that was with me, my relationship with Anthony Joshua. Like, at first, I really liked this dude. And then I started liking him. And then I still like him, man. It's cool. But, he's just a very questionable person. But the question is, like, do the people still want to see Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury? Is that overdue?
I think not.
I think so.
You think
I don't want to see that fight. And even if they show it, it's whatever. I don't care for it. I'm not going to be, like, tune in and watch whatever 24/7 or whatever they got on for these fighters and shit. I'm not going to tune in for that. I'll just wait until the fight, and that's it.
Right.
It's just way overdue, man. All this talking and joking and money, and
it's a money grab. That's the only reason that fight would happen is just in terms of money and everything involved. Oh yeah, he's showing off now, huh? But I mean, like you're saying, like I don't think many people would fight. Not the magnitude of that fight wouldn't be the same level as it was a couple years ago. So seeing where these guys are now, they're definitely on the downslope. So if they did want to make this fight happen, it's really now or never. Because like where they are in their careers, I don't see this really being a big fight as the way it was looked at before. So that's what also happens sometimes when you're like these fights don't happen right away, and there's that certain window of time, and it seems like this window might have shut on both of these guys for right now. But we'll see what happens, and who knows, maybe even Usyk might fight Fury again. He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to prove anything. He's gone through the gauntlet and won. So we'll see.
I think he had one loss? Tyson Fury or two? One loss?
I believe two now.
Okay. Two.
So,
yeah, I got it.
We'll see. We'll see how things end up turning out. But having you on right now, Carlitos, I definitely want to bring this to light, and I just want to talk some Anthony Joshua because I don't like the guy.
Yeah.
So.
And then next week I think we could talk about more boxing. We have Bivol versus who's the other guy's name? Shit, he fought Cole. Guys, this actually is hitting me right now, so I'm forgetting these names. But I should know these names. But I know it's Bivol versus the guys that beat Canelo. Light heavyweight champion, undisputed. It's gonna be a good fight. It's gonna be a good fight. I can't wait. It's just undefeated guys. It's a 50-50 fight. God damn it, Joe, post the name. Go ahead. Yeah. Post the person that first group. Yeah, post that shit right now on that screen. You know who we're talking about next week, this weekend, Saturday night, somewhere. Top rank. Let's get it.
We'll get it.
Carlitos Way World TV.
And yes, don't forget to tune in to Carlitos Way World TV as he has streams. He has his Fortnite gaming. He has a lot of other things that y'all should be tuned in and watching it because I'll be involved in some of that too. So definitely a good watch.
Late night. Yeah, put the kids to sleep. Yes. That's late night too.
That's right.
Carlitos Way World TV.
That's right. But Carlitos, I appreciate you coming on. Being able to drop some knowledge, even some baseball stuff for us. So very cool. Yeah. And it's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure having you on.
I love your show, man. Keep it up.
Yeah, absolutely. But until next time, and I appreciate you having you on.
Peace, man.
All right, Pat.